Hello, everybody, and welcome to Knights of Prospect, the improvised role-playing adventure. I'm Chauncey, a boy wizard of sorts. Fun fact about me, I once grew 50 feet tall, and it made my bones hurt. This is a really awesome show with some of Boston's nerdiest and silliest and coolest improvisers and actors. They come together, and they become the Knights of Prospect. Well, we're like kind of perspective Knights of Prospect. We're getting there. The Knights of Prospect are very important and very fancy, so we're working our way up. For this show, we would love it if you would join us in our Twitch chat. You can talk in there, you can role play your own characters, and some of the other prospective knights will be in there chatting with you. It'd be really, really fun. You could also check out our Facebook page where we have great donation perks. We have things like you can make a location and it's very mysterious and it is very hazardous and you got to make it. Or maybe you can make a cool like foil to my character that's not as tall or handsome but very good at math. All those things from donation perks, all those donations, they go to support our local comedy theater in Prop Boston. To learn anything more about them and how to donate, please go to our Facebook page. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitch to make sure you stay updated on everything you need. The last thing is really, really important to everybody is everyone who's going to be playing with me, my fellow adventurers here today. So everyone give a cool wave when I say your name. We have Portia Thorngage. Wow. And Phil. And Raspberry Snowberry. And I'm Chauncey, of course, the one whose bones hurt by growing. And the last most important person here is John Serpico, who's in charge of our entire world, the Game Master. Take it away, Game Master.
All right, let's get started. So you are all Portia the Thief, Vil the Ranger, Chauncey the Wizard, Raz the Cleric, all fairly far from home. You're all in the Dominion of Vor to the south. Vor is a country about the size of the entirety of the Riverlands where you're from, but united under a single ruler. And to the south of Vor are the Orcish lands, and Vor maintains an absolutely huge army and an immense set of fortresses to protect against the Orcish invasion. That is, it's going to happen any day, but they're doing their best to kind of hold the line. You're all down there because Vil and Portia, this is the 1 or 2 week time. This 1 or 2 week period is the only time to harvest a particular plant that grows in Vor, and that plant is crucially important to both of your work. Portia, it's important to your work as a poisoner and thief, and Vil, it's important to your work as well. So what I want to ask the both of you is, Vil, what is the name of this plant and what does it do? And Portia, why is it so dangerous to get?
Well, it's called the Chrysith plant, and if you chop it up, it makes you cry, kind of like an onion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's one thing it does. It has some uses in medicine as well. But I don't use it that often because I don't like to cry.
That's very fair.
It's dangerous because of brambles. There's tons of brambles. And it's not even just, they're in amongst the brambles. The brambles grow around it.
Yeah.
Like a ball, like an orb.
Yeah.
So then you have to get to the middle of the bramble.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of getting it. I just don't like to cry. I can get it.
Yeah, that's
basically it's like it's saying, if you're gonna chop me up, I'm gonna chop you up first.
It's one of those kind of synergistic relationships in nature.
Fair.
Yeah, this particular plant works with the brambles around it to protect itself, and the brambles feed off of the blood of people trying to harvest it. So it's there's nature is helping nature here. Now, Portia, you at this point a couple of months ago were rescued is a strong word. You were both you, Portia, and these other prospective Knights of Prospect were both imprisoned in the same jail, and you helped them and they helped you get out of this jail.
Yes.
And essentially it's your desire to join the Knights of Prospect is kind of your own business, because you're already in something of a grand society, only it's a grand society that nobody knows about, really. It's a group called the Orphanage. And that is a group of like-minded individuals that work for a woman named the Blue Lady. Portia, what could you tell us about the Orphanage? Why you joined it? Why you're still in it? How many people know you're in it?
So not many people are supposed to know about it. To tell you, I'm not the best at keeping secrets, and it's a secret society. But the Blue Lady keeps me in because I'm good at what I do, and also she's known me since I was a kid. I was raised by my grandma, so orphanage kind of fit. I don't know. She's real good to us. But I don't know. I'm kind of a loner. I don't have a lot of friends. So it is these fine folks saved me, and I really like hanging out with you. So I don't know. I thought I'd give the Knights of Prospect a try too.
Yeah, it's interesting over the last several months, because you're all in your own way kind of petitioning the Knights of Prospect for membership while also living your own lives. You've all kind of as a group grown together. You're somewhere between a group of friends and confidants and a group of coworkers, or maybe an artists collective or something like that. But you're all there kind of united in purpose. And kind of the thing that you've all realized, and Portia, you've realized it most recently, is when you're in danger, when you're in trouble, when you need someone to talk to, you are invariably going back to these people. This is your support system. And so it is no wonder that the four of you are down in the Dominion of Vor, doing something that Portia and Vil want to do. Vor itself is, known to the rest of kind of the Riverlands to the north and the kingdoms beyond that as, that's the frontier. That's where the war with the orcs is happening. And so for those of you who have never been to Vor, you expected it to be just kind of these blasted plains with, still smoking ruins everywhere and things like that. But Vor is something of a breadbasket. It's fields and fields of crops, verdant forests. The animals seem happy. You've all been drinking like the best milk you've ever had here. So it's, it doesn't...
The milk's real good.
It's such good milk.
Is it goat milk? I feel like I've only had milk this good from a goat.
It's like tangy. I could see it being goat milk, but what if it's just like really, really special cows? Like they eat a bunch of citrus.
Ooh. Or peaches?
Yeah, these are the kind of conversations you've all kind of had in the days of overland travel that have taken you from Tower Town in the Riverlands down to Vor. What you see are plenty of soldiers. Everyone in Vor serves in the Vorish army for a few years, and they head to kind of the frontier fortresses. But there are soldiers everywhere, kind of just doing work, and people that clearly used to be soldiers but are still wearing their uniforms and all of that. So it's really a very pleasant place full of hale and hearty people. So because this crisis plant is the name of it?
Chrysith
plant. So because the Chrysith plant is in this symbiotic relationship with kind of the bramble, the brambles and the vines. You can only get it in the middle of the forest. And there's a forest outside of a particular town that has a high concentration of this stuff. So, Chauncey, what's the name of that town?
Oh, this town here? This is Chesurton. It's on a really cool sign.
Yeah, the town itself is just kind of this beautiful beautiful hamlet, a lot of kind of squat buildings, the roofs of which are mainly canvas, so it's almost like it's a whole town of yurts. Everyone here seems hardworking and happy, and the fields are pretty rich. This is the middle of summer, so there's harvesting going on. Chauncey, you were very excited to come here too, because your magical book, which really until recently has been completely blank, kind of started filling itself in when you learned that growth spell. Now, the growth spell is in the book that was formerly blank. And when Portia and Vil said that they needed to go down to Cheshire Town to harvest the Chrysith plant, you were holding the book in your hand at the time, and when they said the word Cheshire Town, you're pretty sure the book told you had to go. And that was unnerving, but you were very insistent that you had to go. So...
It's a very important book. I mean, guys, if the book says I gotta go somewhere, I gotta go. It's look how many pages are left, and it's gonna be a good time for sure.
I understand, Chauncey. I feel the same way about the books of Enteresh. When I read something in there and I feel inspired, I must follow it. And so I'm with you on this journey.
Can't say I really understand. I've never read a book before, but if I had, perhaps it would tell me something too.
Well, that's the cool part. Is like this one wasn't even. I didn't even have to read it. It just said maybe if I kind of told you what it sounded like, it would help you understand. It went like, Chauncey, follow them to Cheshire Town. It was very convincing.
It sounds like a kind of pushy book.
I guess you're kind of right, but I mean, it's just like a voice from a book, and you gotta listen to it. It's what my heart says to do.
So the book speaks to you. You don't even have to read it.
I can't read it, but I guess it started speaking in that really cool voice. So
wow.
Well, to each their own. You take orders from a book. I take orders from a duck. No offense.
And I take orders from God.
It's all the same.
All the same.
Yeah, it's a matter of perspective, perhaps. People searching for guidance in their own way. And Raz, it's actually fairly appropriate because you came to Cheshire Town, one, because your friends were going, and two, because you have a standing invitation from the priest in charge of the Church of Enteresh the Shepherd in Cheshire Town to give sermons and to preach there. And so, it's about that you do that. So, before you all kind of wander into the woods to harvest Chrysith plants, Raz has a sermon to give. I presume you are all supporting your friend by joining him in the church, or are any of you having excuses to go elsewhere?
I would be honored.
I follow.
Lovely to have you.
I follow the whole way.
It's talking, right? You singing? I'd love to hear your
I speak.
Chanting? Speaking, yes.
Speaking,
I would love to hear your speaking.
Chanting is like speaking and singing at the same time. Is there chanting?
That's true. Perhaps
Like
some
a
chant
twofer.
might liven it up a bit.
We usually begin and end with a chant, kind of a mantra.
Excellent.
And in the middle, there's a sermon.
Oh,
Wonderful.
Sometimes post-sermon, people feel inspired to sing, and I let them.
And dance?
And dance.
This sounds wonderful.
I am excited.
As we're walking, I'm using my book as a divining rod to see if it tells me to do anything along the way.
Yeah, the book is quiet 99.9% of the time. And so when it does speak to you, it's in your brain and very compelling. And you're all kind of approaching the church, which like the rest of town is kind of this big circular building with this big kind of almost tent-like roof. And
Wowza.
the book seems perfectly pleased for you to walk into this church, and the priest there at this church, Portia, Vil, Chauncey, you all kind of start mingling, amongst the crowd. All the parishioners are there, and the seating is a mix of kind of carpets and big plush pillows, and it's arranged almost in kind of like a semicircle around this clearing at one side that's kind of festooned with various artifacts and symbols. And
I immediately go and flop on some of the pillows.
Oh, these
Check
are
them
nice.
out.
Yeah, you eventually, and perhaps longer than would be socially appropriate, go and really test out the pillows. Like there are other parishioners just kind of patiently waiting while Portia kind of goes pillow to pillow and kind of sprawls down on it and kind of sinks in, sees if it's her kind of pillow. You eventually find one that suits, and while this is happening, Raz, you are talking to the priest whose church this is. What's that priest's name?
That would be Rez.
So Rez is a priest you've known for an incredibly long time. When you see her, she gives you this warm embrace and says, Rez, my dearest brother from the north, it is so good to see you.
It's great to see you as well. The journey was long and yet enriched with gallons of milk along the way, and I must say you have the best milk that we have had in this land. And we'd love to take some back, actually, if you have a bit of milk to spare.
Some of our parishioners, in fact, many of them are farmers, and I'm sure after they hear your stirring words, you will practically be drowning in the stuff.
Oh my gosh. Raz, be careful.
I'm sorry, was that to me or to Rez?
Raz.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I thought you were telling
drowning.
me to be careful. Rest assured, I will.
Thank you. I will as well.
I'll be careful too, Vil.
So, Rez, if it's all right, what I told the parishioners this week is that you would have a sermon prepared on dangers and hardships and how Enteresh is there in times of danger. And I was hoping that you could speak to that effect after I introduce you.
Absolutely. I would love to.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to prepare the various incenses necessary to herald your arrival.
As that happens, I'm kind of slinking away and just I feel like I'm discreetly holding my book up to people just that are around to see if I get a response from anyone.
Roll 2d6 plus your wisdom.
8.
Now that is pretty good news, as we are using the Dungeon World system. We roll 2d6 for everything, and usually add a modifier. Everything that's a 6 or less is a failure, a 7 to 9 is a partial success, and a 10 plus is a full success. And this partial success is this. You're kind of discreetly just kind of holding it to people, kind of seeing what the book thinks of everyone. You, almost out of the corner of your eye, because you're currently holding it up to an incredibly old man, you see kind of the door of the church kind of open and close and a figure leave. And the book gives you a weird feeling about that. The book wants to know who that person was.
I hold the book tight and I follow them out.
So as Rez is kind of standing in front of the crowd's all gathered and kind of sunk into their cushions. And
Does Hobie have a cushion?
Hobie does have a cushion. Hobie, your friend and business partner, who happens to be a duck, is the only duck here, without a doubt. Is the only non-human, non-elf, non-halfling person here. And he is just kind of looking at you, and he has a wondering look on his face.
I don't know. It'll probably be boring, but
Hobie,
we're here for Raz.
Bill,
What?
the kid just left. The kid.
Oh, ours?
Our kid, no, what other kid? The kid with the magic. He just left. Chauncey,
Should
call somebody out.
should we go?
I think I'm gonna go after him. I wanted to hear the chanting.
Is it rude? Are people gonna? They're already
No,
thinking about. There's a plot at play here to drown our friend Raz in milk.
Okay,
After this,
you stay here.
I need to
make
make sure
sure-
that nobody makes trouble on him.
Make sure there's no giant pools of milk for Raz to drown in.
I'm gonna keep an eye out for
Tell
any
them-
suspicious farmers.
Tell them I went to the little halflings room. I'm gonna go follow the kid.
Okay.
Okay. Bye. Hands in.
Once.
Hands in.
Oh.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3. It's
Let's go.
Bill and Portia.
Bill and Portia and Hobie. Okay.
And Hope.
Hobie. Yeah. Great. I'm gonna go follow the kid.
Okay.
So-
Once Portia leaves the building, I'm going to just make it not suspicious by loudly saying, "So I guess Portia had to visit the bathroom. Sounded like an emergency, and probably she'll be in there for a while because we drank a lot of your milk."
The this general statement of Portia's presumed purpose is said to a room full of silence, because Rez kind of gets up and is about to announce Raz when everyone hears this. Now everyone is aware that Portia is most likely in the bathroom. Rez kind of stands up in front of everyone and says, "Hello, dear parishioners, and
Hello.
hello, and guests from out of town. We have a very special person here with us. In fact, all of you are special.
That's us.
But this person here is also a priest, a cleric of Enteresh the Shepherd from the Riverlands. And he is here to give you a sermon about danger.
Oh.
Please welcome Raz of Tower Town."
Oh. Wow. Very cool
Thank you,
stuff.
Thank you. I'm very happy and humbled to be invited to this church. I would like to start with a mantra that we do up north. If you could follow after me. Resh, Resh, Enteresh.
Resh. Resh.
Resh,
Enteresh.
Resh,
Resh.
Resh,
Resh.
Enteresh.
Resh.
Resh,
Resh.
Enteresh.
Resh.
Resh,
Resh.
Resh.
Resh. Resh.
Resh.
And
Resh.
now
Resh.
you may be feeling a calm coming over you. I
Oh,
certainly
yeah.
am.
Definitely.
Thank you, Vil. That's my friend Vil.
We're from Tower Town.
Yes, we are. I would like to say a few words about danger today. So, as you all know, Enteresh had 2 disciples, one of which was Wone. Now, early after Enteresh had discovered these lands and acquired 2 disciples, Wone asked Enteresh, "Enteresh, what is the purpose of faith in a world of magic?" There are wizards. There are clerics. There are beasts with talents that we never saw in the old world. What purpose could faith have in this world? When there's magic to create something out of nothing and make beasts and beings disappear, and to make one feel all powerful. Why do we need faith? And Enteresh laughed. Wone, oh, I'm so glad that you were my disciple. And Enteresh said, magic can only make you feel comfort on the outside. Magic can make you feel powerful on the outside. Magic can make you feel content on the outside, but it does nothing for your inside. If you are sad, you will stay sad. If you are scared, you will stay scared. And in the face of danger, without faith, you may lash out and cause a bigger kerfuffle than existed initially. And I think back to this story and relate it to a personal anecdote, if I may share it. Before I joined the church, I was a lonely lad walking through the forests outside of Tower Town. I had run away from home. I was making do on crops and animals that I found in the forest. I was living alone. And one day I came upon a house that was lit by candles. And I looked through the window, and through the window I saw a puppy. And I wanted that puppy. And so I opened the window and I took it. And I left the house with this little beagle puppy, which is what I had wanted, a friend. And as I was leaving the house, suddenly I heard a shout coming from the house. "Come back with my puppy!" And I thought, this puppy? And I turned, and a group of people were pointing at me. And I suddenly realized they were speaking about this puppy that I had. Now, if I didn't have faith, I would have started a fight in order to hold the puppy and keep it for myself. But something else inside of me spoke to me and said, "Raz, what you have done is wrong. You have stolen an animal, and you should return that animal." And as I had this thought, stones came flying from all of these people in this house. And I dodged, and I apologized. I shouted out, "I'm sorry, yes, I have taken your puppy. I am alone. I am only 14 years old." And the hail of stones stopped. And they embraced me. I gave the puppy back. And from then on, I knew that the spirit of Enteresh would protect me. So danger, how do we deal with it? And I say faith, inner strength. I would like to close this sermon by saying another mantra. Wone, 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 wone.
Wone,
Wone, wone, wone, wone, wone. Wone, 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 wone. Wone, 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 wone.
Raz Magnificent, I want you to roll 2d6 plus your charisma plus 1 because that was a heck of a sermon. And tell me what you get.
Woo!
Nice. So it's the people of Vor are a very kind of forthright people and very direct, and they were very touched by someone sharing a personal story, especially a clergy member sharing something personal about a personal failing and a choice that they had to make. And so you are immediate applause, and people start getting up and thanking you, and it is a lovely time. Outside, though, slightly different. Chauncey, Portia catches up to you within a few seconds, and the two of you are now looking for a figure. But you didn't really get a great look as they turned and left. So, Portia, Chauncey, how do you want to track someone who you didn't necessarily get a good look at?
Did the book get a good look?
I'll ask. Book, listen. I know you don't talk much, but I'm losing the trail here, buddy. And I shake it around.
Shake it side to side.
I shake it side to side. And then I turn a full circle and then just hold it and see if it pulls me in any direction.
You kind of wait and see if that'll do it.
They need a tracker.
They do need a tracker. They instead have just a book. Chauncey, I'm going to have you roll 2d6 plus your intelligence, because this is all as much about interpreting magic, because you're trying to read what the book is telling you, as it is anything else. It's going to be a -1 because this book only recently began talking to you.
And I want to help. I want to get on top of a tree or something to help him look.
Awesome. Portia, roll 2d6 plus your wisdom.
I got 6.
See how Portia does.
5.
Okay, so you Chauncey, you're kind of holding it up like a divining rod, waiting to tell you which way to go. Portia, you kind of quickly scale a drain pipe, in one of the taller buildings, and get up to a whole tree from that, and are looking, kind of waiting to see where Chauncey points, so you can kind of call the target. And unfortunately, nothing. You're looking, and you just see plenty of people going about their business. The streets are somewhat empty because most folks are in one of the churches of their choosing. And so kind of the few people, Portia, that you see just look like they're walking about their business, carrying parcels, doing something. But you couldn't actually find the person you were looking for. You don't necessarily see it, but kind of the audience do. The close-up of a face, eyes narrowing, looking up at Portia in a tree. This set of eyes then looks down at a small book, which opens, and in it the words are written, Portia, halfling, working with Chauncey. And then the book is closed. Anyway, back in the church, there are kind of post sermon libations, and people are eating, and there's a potluck. And
I go up to Raz and I say, Raz, I need to tell you something about your sermon.
Certainly.
And I want you to know that I mean every word. If I had been the one throwing the rocks at you, I never would have missed. Because I'm the best shot in the Riverlands.
Yes, I'm glad that you weren't in that house, because I wouldn't be here today and I would not have witnessed someone who had never been to a church before saying mantras with such vigor that even I doubted my own faith.
Oh
so-
my.
I must say thank you for not being in that house and murdering me.
Hey,
And in
I'm glad I
consequence,
wasn't.
we get to be friends.
We do. And I think that you did a really good job. I mean, I love to chant, and I never knew that about myself.
Oh, such vigor. It was so delightful.
Bigger.
Yes.
Everybody seems to really enjoy it. I don't think anybody's even considering drowning you in milk, but I'm going to make sure. I'm going to have a small conversation with each farmer to make sure that their intentions are not nefarious.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
And so the minutes turn into hours as the elven ranger with the 1,000-yard stare begins essentially interrogating the Rez's parishioners while you and Rez continue to catch up. Portia and Chauncey, you kind of lose the trail. Chauncey, the book still is, for lack of a better term, unnerved, but you're
It's
not
broken.
necessarily sure how to reconcile it. You think it may, in fact, be broken. Portia, is the plan to get to go into the forest today to do the harvesting, or is it an early morning thing?
We were gonna try later at night, but usually you take on the brambles in the morning when they're sleepy.
That is very true. That's good advice. So, all of you, where is it? Actually, Raz, where is it that everybody is staying?
Oh, well, there's an inn a couple of streets down from the church. It's called Kettlebox Inn.
Ooh.
It's kind of nice because it's shaped like a tea kettle,
Ooh la la.
and every room has a window. And every breakfast includes a tea.
So it is in fact a lovely place, a place, Raz, that you have stayed before.
This is a nice place.
The people here are kind of enamored, Raz, with you. The interesting thing is you're all kind of a topic of conversation in and of yourself. Like Vil, people are clearly pointing at you and saying, "Oh, that's the elf that interrogated me." Something about a drowning. And Chauncey, news of your becoming a giant has come even this far down south.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I've had a rough day. If just someone could just bring me a glass of milk, and I just kind of sit down at a table.
Yeah, Chauncey, you're shaking off the lost pursuit, and Raz, people are coming up to you and thanking you, and Portia, you are getting yourself into a position to kind of scan the room and see who here is worth seeing.
Why, yes, I am in a secret society. Thank you.
Tell me who you told that to.
The bartender.
So the bartender is, a woman of middle age who has, planted herself pretty firmly in this bar for at least 20 years, and she's cleaning out heavy mugs. She looks at you and says, "Mm-hmm. And what do they do?"
Oh, mostly stuff I am not supposed to tell you about, but frequently thievery. But don't worry, not from you, only from people who deserve it.
Now, did you make this up, or is this a thing that's real?
Oh, it's a thing that's real.
Are we allowed to just make stuff up here?
I mean, I guess you can technically lie anywhere, but No, I don't think you're supposed to.
Oh. All right.
Well, and this is the bartender kind of stepping in. I suppose there's no laws against lying unless you're in a courthouse. I suppose if you have a compelling enough lie, there's a stage over there.
All right, I've got a compelling one. I walk over to the stage. I take hold of a nearby flask and I say, "I drink for free here every night."
She's my friend.
There's a a man in rather nice clothes who laughs hysterically at this and tosses a small pouch of coins towards the bartender, and he turns back and says, "Tonight she does. You have to applaud that kind of enthusiasm." And the big round of applause. Apparently, the lie was compelling enough that you do, in fact, drink for free.
And
Portia, I lied and everybody laughed at it, and then it came true. Maybe I'm picking up on that magic stuff Chauncey's always talking about.
What? First of all, I drink for free too, and I see someone passing by with a glass of milk that I haven't received yet, and I use unseen servant to try to grab that milk.
Sure. 2d6 to cast the spell. 2d6 plus your intelligence.
You're gonna unseen
12.
serve yourself milk.
So, we are looking at a table where a young couple are clearly on a date. They're really not older than like 15, which is why they're drinking milk. And the kind of one of the servers walks up and says, "All right, an apple juice for you, and there should have also been a milk on this tray. I am so sorry, pardon me." Whereas Chauncey, 2 tables over, big milk mustache. That is true magic. What Vil did, that doesn't count.
I'm going to walk over to Chauncey because I just saw what happened.
You definitely did.
Chauncey,
Cheers.
It doesn't count.
where did you get that milk from?
Server over there. He was giving it to someone else, and I wanted it, and I feel bad, and so I took it.
You feel bad? Why do you feel bad? That's their milk. You should give it back.
Yeah, if you
Right.
made the sermon today, you would know that that's wrong.
That's very wrong.
I'm not happy I missed the sermon either, but my book so first of all, it's all my book's fault. I put the glass down, I put the book on the table, and I'm just looking angrily at the book. The book told me to leave, so I missed a whole sermon, and then the book didn't tell me where to go after. I'm sorry. It just you've been in a fight with a friend before, right, Raz?
I have been.
Well,
If I
this
may
book's-
tell you a story,
please, I need your guidance.
Oh,
I was once I was once
This is going to be heartbreaking. I can tell.
oh, I'm feeling sleepy.
Uh-oh, he ate
Oh.
too much again.
did somebody feed Raz a snack?
Uh-oh.
I think I saw him sneaking some cheese earlier.
We'll do it.
Is eventually tucked into bed, and the night passes in the comfort of this inn.
All three
and-
of us have to work together to carry Raz to bed, but we make it.
Yeah, there's a Raz is not a small humble priest. Raz is a large strapping priest, and so it kind of takes a village to get him into bed.
Great
Yeah, I'm strong,
eyebrows.
The next morning,
True.
just as the sun is suggesting a rise, you all get up, kind of get your packs together. Raz, you haven't slept this great in weeks, and you're all ready to head out into the woods.
Yep.
You all have horses, which
Mhm.
you ride them all the way to the edge of the woods here.
Mine's
you-
huge. I got the biggest horse I could find.
You do. This is actually a charger on loan from the Knights of Prospect, and it is immense. It would carry Thudmeric, the famed knight, but she wasn't using her horse. She and Gregory apparently are out on some kind of adventure, so she loaned the horse to you. You all notice, because Portia is relatively kind of new to the gang, that Portia is exceptional on a horse. This is not a borrowed. This is not her borrowed. This is her horse. And Portia, actually, what's your horse's name?
Pickles.
So Pickles the horse is, a fine animal. And Vil, you get a sense like this is the kind of horse, this breed of horse, its size, its health. This is a very expensive horse. Back when you were in the guiding game, when you were guiding merchants around, this would be the nicest horse in the caravan. So yeah, it's Portia doesn't, she's not draped in jewelry or anything, so it's pretty amazing that she's riding the modern world equivalent of a luxury car.
Portia, where'd you get that horse?
Found it.
Whoa!
Good find.
That
Where'd
was
you
a
find it?
lie. There was a person not treating it very well. Rich guy, lived a couple towns over. Wasn't feeding it right, wasn't taking care of him. So I took him off of his hands, and I'm sure he bought another one. And Pickles is very happy with me.
Well, you know what that means, Raz? Every single person who missed the sermon steals.
Yes.
I am a thief.
I don't think it's a coincidence.
Yeah, maybe I'm a thief. Am I a thief? Portia, am I a thief?
I mean,
It's
thief is a matter of trade. You have certainly committed theft of milk. So you're on your way, kid.
Pretty good.
I've
I
never
would just
stolen
make
anything.
sure in the future, if you're gonna steal milk, make sure it's from someone with very dense bones, or someone who treats cows poorly.
Mm.
You have to have a code.
Oh,
Okay.
a code. My code used to be I only killed people when people paid me to do it.
Mm.
That is a code.
I think my code is I do what my book says, and also sometimes what the woods say to do if there's a spell, and I find magic.
That is
And
a
my code.
very long code.
is do good if you
Could
can.
use some editing.
Yeah, Raz's was nice and tight.
Tight
Could you
code.
tighten that up a little, Chauncey?
Gotta have a tight code.
Okay. Will you guys help me workshop this?
Yeah.
Okay. Steal milk, do magic.
That's your
I
code?
think that's very specific.
Yes.
That
Very-
wouldn't apply
we
to
won't-
a lot of situations.
Yeah.
But it certainly okay. Listen to book.
That sounds
Win
like-
the
That
magic
sounds
fair.
like the book code. That's the code of the book. What's the code for you?
Okay. The winner. Wins magic fair at all costs.
It's a
Drinks
very
milk after.
immediate code.
Okay.
Well, we know it's magic related. That's pretty good.
I'm working on a new code now.
Yeah.
Kind of like Raz's. Do good.
Drink milk.
Follow duck.
Those are all good ones.
Those are all great ones.
And drink for free.
Yeah.
So you all tie up your horses. There's kind of a well-worn road through a field that leads from the outskirts of Cheshireton to this forest, and you tie up. There's actually kind of a hitching post here, and you all head into the woods. Now these kind of bramble covered plants grow best in very, very dim light. So you have to get kind of deep into the woods to kind of start finding these big orby brambles. So how exactly do these things get harvested?
You've got to pull them up from the roots. The roots are a very important part of it. So you got to pull it up from the roots. If you break it off, releases the fumes, you start to cry, and pretty soon you're too disheveled to continue harvesting. So,
indeed.
Yep.
So
I always bring my bramble gloves because these are the money makers.
So yeah, it's Vil. This is something that for years you've done by yourself, but it's frankly really nice to have someone here that knows what she's doing. And so the two of you work together very deftly. Portia with the bramble gloves to kind of wrest the bramble aside. Vil, you kind of very deftly move your hands in, and you're able to pull up the plants by the roots.
perfect.
In the amount of time that you would harvest one, the two of you have harvested 3 or 4. Chauncey and Raz, you're both kind of watching these two work with the skill and alacrity of people that have done this before. Chauncey, at this point, you experience for maybe half a second a paralyzing headache. Roll 2d6 plus intelligence.
11.
Okay, that is your book telling you that you are in danger. You do not know what the danger is from, but you have about a second to do something. What is that something?
I scream, "Everyone, we're in danger!" And I try to detect magic.
All right, roll detect magic.
Whew. 13.
Okay. There is some kind of very weird magical presence. Generally, within 20 or 30 feet, you don't necessarily know where, but there's something here that is definitely magical. Also, Chauncey, it is around that point that you are shot in the chest with an arrow. 7 damage, Chauncey, and roll your Constitution.
No.
Well, I'm sorry. What do I roll?
2d6 plus 0. Your Constitution is 0.
Oh, Chauncey.
7.
Okay.
Oh, no.
You are still conscious, but in a lot of pain. You don't know what being poisoned feels like, but this may have just happened to you. There is something going on, and you don't know what. Everyone, Chauncey has just been shot by an arrow from an unknown assailant. You know, based on which way he was facing and which way the arrow hit him, that there's somewhere generally that way. What does everybody want to do?
I'm going to cure his wound.
All right, go for it.
Can we tell that he's been poisoned?
11.
11. Yes, roll 1d8 damage to cure his wound. Vil, maybe. Let's see how much damage is healed.
1d8. 7.
Okay, so Chauncey, you have been returned to full health. But Vil, you look at Chauncey, like this all happens very, very quick. You were kind of elbow deep into a bramble sphere when you see when Chauncey screams, is hit by an arrow, and then Raz runs over and kind of slaps a huge amount of magical healing on him, and the arrow kind of comes out. And all of this happened very quickly, Vil. And, you've seen magical healing before. It is very sudden and very powerful, and then the person kind of gets an adrenaline surge. But Chauncey is very slow to get to his feet, and there is blood streaming out of his nose and ears. So you are pretty sure that he is poisoned.
It's magic.
I'm going to run in the direction the arrow came from.
Yeah, Portia, you start sprinting. I want you to roll 2d6 plus wisdom to discern realities. I'll give you also a +1 because you are closing the distance and sprinting towards danger.
All right. I rolled an 8.
Okay. You get to ask me one question. What is that question?
All right. Where's the assailant?
The assailant has taken up a sniper's position in a tree. And you see the tree, and now you see the sniper.
All right. I'm taking out my short bow and shooting for the leg.
All right. Will do. You kind of unlimber it and prepare a shot. Vil, do you want to do anything before Portia engages?
I run after Portia.
You take off. Chauncey, you are, kind of still steady but very disoriented. All right. Let's Portia roll. You are doing a cold shot here since you're aiming for the leg. So I want you to roll 2d6 and 2d6 plus your dexterity and tell me what you get.
All right. 8.
8. Okay. Do your damage. That is 1d8, but 1d6, but you also get +2 because you're a halfling and you're very, very good with a bow.
7.
Okay, that is a great shot. Vil, you close distance because you see Portia take off. Like, as she's running, she's pulling out a short bow. And you see her, like, as you close distance, you see Portia kind of sprint, look up, kind of slide on one knee, and as she's sliding, aim a shot that finds its mark, because you hear a grunt from 10 feet away. Huh, she's a good shot. Because it's a partial success, this archer returns fire at Chauncey. Chauncey, you are hit with another arrow in the stomach.
Oh, no. Somebody save the kid.
All right, what's everybody want to do now? Chauncey, Raz, Vil, dealer's choice.
I'm going to yell, Hobie, up! And I'll have Hobie clear away some leaves so I have a better shot at this
You
assailant.
kind of unlatch the pouch that you carry of him, and Hobie spreads out his mallard wings and starts flying and kind of slashes away at branches and leaves, opening up a shot for you, which you'll be able to take. Roll 2d6 plus dexterity for your shot.
I'm going to bless the weapon to give it to make it magic. Give it 1d4 damage.
Vil, what'd you get?
10.
10. Awesome. Because you got a 10 and it's awesome, you're going to be able to bless the weapon with magic, Raz, as the arrow is in the air. Roll 2d6 plus wisdom to cast the spell.
2d6. Oh no. 5.
Okay, so you see kind of Vil and Portia start loosing arrows up into a tree. Vil kind of positions, fires an arrow that goes like 6 inches under Hobie, who's clearing out the brush. You kind of fire a blast of Enteresh's blessing. It does not hit the arrow mid-flight, but it hits Hobie, who seems to grow about a foot. And Hobie begins ripping down branches to
Hobie!
Scooter's position.
Get him, duck.
Did you blow my duck?
All right.
I think I hit your duck. Yeah.
I want you to roll your Constitution one more time.
Chauncey?
Chauncey.
4.
Okay. Chauncey, you're going to be able to do one thing before you pass out. What do you want to do?
I am taking my book and throwing it on the floor to an empty page, looking to where the arrow came from, throwing my blood onto the book, and screaming at it to pull your weight around here for once.
Yeah.
Attempt to conjure a magic missile.
That's exactly what you do. And because you told the book to do it for you, you don't even need to roll. Raz, you are close enough to Chauncey that you're really the only one that gets a view of this. And frankly, it is unnerving to you to a level you have not experienced in many years. Because what you are pretty sure you are witnessing is evil. You see Chauncey kind of stagger, blood coming from his nose and his ears. He kind of takes the book and yells at it and slams it on the ground. And he says, pull your weight. He kind of smashes like a blood-soaked handprint on it and passes out. A full 1 second later, that book closes on its own and magic missiles fly from the cover and into the tree. Goosh, 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 boom, boom. Falling from the tree is a body.
Is the body moving?
No. It kind of fell like a sack of potatoes and hit the ground.
I would like to check if the body is alive.
I pull out my short sword. Just be ready.
Portia, you're kind of closing in. Vil, you're walking in like a crime scene investigator. It's a person, human, or maybe a particularly broad-shouldered elf. The closer you get, he's wearing kind of brown and green clothing. Has a bow. When he hit the ground, a couple of vials shattered. But as you get closer, there is something wrong with his face. The closer you get, he's an Uggo, but not in a way that would be comforting. He's an Uggo in a way that is deeply unnerving. His skin looks very, very thick and very, very smooth. And Portia, you kind of walk up. Vil, you kind of put a hand on his arm. And where you would think there would be arm, there is nothing. Like you squeeze and it's nothing.
What?
Portia, you kind of stab at this guy with your sword, and it's nothing.
I'm a poking.
You're poking, and it's
It goes right through?
Yeah, it's like you're pressing down on a cushion and then letting go, and then the cushion kind of comes back up.
Hello? I kick it.
You kick it, and it's, his head kind of turns and droops. There are no eyes where there should be eyes.
Are there eye holes?
There are eye holes, just no eyes.
Well,
I'm gonna grab Chauncey and walk over to where Vil and Portia are.
Yeah, you get kind of Chauncey up on your shoulders and kind of walk him over.
oh, right, the kid.
I want to study this thing.
Sure. Roll 2d6 plus your wisdom, Portia. Depending on what you get, it may be a discern realities, it may be something else.
Oh boy. It's a 4.
Okay, so that's a failure, but it's actually a success because you do learn something. It's just that this something is horrible. You kind of you kind of grab various pieces of him to see if there's any kind of substance. And you do grab his head, and his head has substance, but you realize that the head is wearing a mask. You grab his face and pull it off, and what is revealed is a shiny white skull suspended in a shadow shaped like a human being. The shadow starts to dissipate, revealing just a skull sitting on top of a pile of clothing.
Oh. That's spooky. I've said it time and again, Game Master. I don't care for skeletons. And here they come again.
I do apologize. There was a skeleton in there. Elsewhere, Vil?
I crack open some of the Chrysith plant. I hope everybody's happy. We're not going to speak of this again. And this is not because I'm afraid of the skeleton. I pour some of the, there's like some juice leaking out of the end of the plant. So I put it in my canteen of water and I screw it close and I shake it up. And nobody tell Gregory that I cried today. And I pour some of the water into Chauncey's mouth.
Chauncey, you wake up. You're in a lot of pain, but even more than physical pain, you are in emotional pain. You want nothing more than to cry.
I hate this stuff.
Chauncey, I have a face.
Why?
It was a skeleton. It was wearing a face.
As soon as I get the rest of these Chrysith plants back to Ronaldo, I never want to see them again.
And so there all of you are, holding a face and looking at a skull and crying your absolute hearts out.
Because of the plant.
Because of the plant. Elsewhere, there is someone writing in a very small book, staring at that copse of trees you're in. The book is bound to Chauncey. It cannot be moved or removed from him until he dies. We'll need to double our efforts to make sure that this happens. And we're going to right there. Well, everyone, make sure to breathe. Crying is perfectly natural, but so too is adventure. So I want to thank you all very much, adventurers, for getting yourselves into and out of great danger. And thank you all, audience watching at home or wherever you are watching. And thank you especially to anyone who donated during this hour. Please follow the Knights of Prospect on Facebook or on Twitch so you can stay current with what we are doing and all kinds of hijinks that we're getting in. Every week is a new adventure with a different combination of our very exciting heroes. And as you watch them grow and hopefully one day become Knights of Prospect, it will be very, very exciting. We are performing every Saturday night at 8 o'clock right here on Twitch. So hopefully we will see you right back here next week at the same time. Until then, good night and stay safe out there.